Hi guys, thank you guys for tuning back into my channel. Now if you recognize this makeup and this shirt from a previous video, it's because I did two videos in one day. But this video is going to be a story time. I'm going to be telling you guys about that time when I was traveling by myself. I had to catch a connecting flight in a different island and transfer over to another airport, and this shady ass, creepy ass taxi driver, I don't know, I was scared for my life, so stay tuned for that.
Ryan Little.
Alright guys, I'm just gonna grab my sorrel. I love sorrel, Shandy Carib, my favorite. Anyhow, so this story time is about the time when I went home to my country, Grenada. You see I'm ripping hard in the back there, you know what I'm saying? But I think this was back in 2015 or 16. I think it's 2015. I was like working a lot at my other job, not the job I'm at now, and I finally got a chance to get like 2 weeks vacation. So I'm like, you know what, let me go home and visit my mom and my family, you know, have a nice little fun in the sun kind of thing, because you guys know New York is like crazy in winter. Like, I hate snow, I hate winter. But anyhow, so up until that time, I never had I never had the chance to buy myself a plane ticket before. I've always had like my mom or my stepfather, when they were together, buying, you know, my ticket and all of that. So this is the first time I had to buy a ticket online by myself. So guys, I didn't know, like, okay, look for like a straight flight, or look for one stop that's less than an hour wait for the next connecting flight. I didn't really know that. So I basically went online looking for like the cheapest ticket, and you guys know the cheapest ticket is usually the one that has like 2 stops, like 12 hours wait for the next connecting flight. Like I didn't know that at the time. So I went and I bought the cheapest ticket I could ever find. I think it was like $300 and something. Like, that was like the cheapest at the time. I can't remember the month I went down. It had to be Carnival is in end of July, August, so it had to be in July I went home, because I came up a week before Carnival, and I was so mad. I'm like, why did I buy my ticket a week before Carnival? Because Carnival was like, you know, they have little Carnival launches, and, you know, Grenville was, you know, mad, like people, you know, chilling and shit. St. George's, like people chilling, they got little parties here, there, and everywhere, like, and I'm going back to work, and I'm missing out on all of this, like, Shireen, I was so mad at myself. But anyhow, so what had happened was I had to, well, I can't remember what plane. Now I only fly with JetBlue. Like, I don't want to fly with anything other than JetBlue, because I love JetBlue. Shout out to JetBlue. Sponsor your girl if you see this video, okay? But I think it wasn't JetBlue I was traveling with that time. I think it was American Airlines to... Is it American Airlines or Caribbean Airlines? I can't remember the airlines, to be honest with you guys. Anyhow, this is how the flight was. I had to go from JFK to St. Vincent or St. Lucia? Damn, guys, I can't remember. My memory sucks. I think it was St. Vincent. I think it was St. Vincent, but it could be St. Lucia. It was a Saint something. It's between St. Vincent or St. Lucia. I think it's St. Vincent. So I had to go there, and then I had to connect from there to go to Grenada. I had to get Liat to go. Let me tell, first of all, Liat, why is Liat still in business? Like, first of all, they're always late. They're always delayed. There's always some shit. Like, anyhow, I digress. I had to get I had to connect to Liat to take me to Grenada. Now, what I didn't check before I left was that when I got to St. Vincent or St. Lucia, don't quote me, I was connecting there, but I was connecting on a different airport. Whichever one of them has like two airports, that's the one I went to, St. Vincent or St. Lucia. You guys tell me in the comments below. Probably should have did my research before I did the story time, but anyhow, I had to, okay, so I went from JFK to St. Vincent. I landed at this airport, but then my connecting flight was on the airport on the next side of that island. I didn't see that before I left, so when I got there, I'm like, but no, the connecting flight isn't this airport, it's some other airport. Now you guys know, like, I've never been to that island before, so it's like I was mad confused. I was traveling by myself, so like it's not like I had somebody to help me out or, you know, try to figure it out together. It was just me. So I went through customs, then I went outside. As soon as I went outside, I was planning to ask somebody outside how, like, where do I get to taxi, or do they have like buses that run from this airport to the next? Because literally the airport was on the next side of the island. Like, I landed on the big airport. I had to go to a smaller one on the next side. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a taxi. Thank God I walked with money, because girl, when you're traveling, make sure you walk with money. And I had US. I didn't change it over to EC yet. Well, obviously not. Where am I going to change it? I didn't even reach to Grenada yet. But I had money on me and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to hire a taxi. So as soon as I got outside the airport, this guy came up to me. He was like, taxi? So I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, so I showed him my thing. I'm like, I need to go to this airport to catch a connecting flight. My connecting flight was an hour from the time I landed. So I literally had an hour to get there to catch that flight. So I'm like, would I get there before the hour? He was like, yeah, I'll get you there before the hour. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So first red flag is when I was walking with him, he took my suitcase and he put it in the back of a bus, a whole bus. If you guys, some of you, like, people who's like living over here in New York probably wouldn't know, but my Caribbean people would know those kinds of buses that we use home. It was one of those kind of Nissan buses, I guess. It was a silver bus. And the first red flag, guys, I kid you not, was that there was nobody else. Like, it was just me on a whole bus. So I'm like, maybe, you know, business is slow, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I wasn't really paying attention because I'm like panicking right now. Like, damn, I need to get to this airport to catch this flight. I can't afford to miss that flight. And I'm in this island that I've never visited before. I don't know anybody here. Like, what am I going to do if I miss my flight? So I get in the bus. I mean, instantly my little spidey senses was kind of going off. He puts my bag in the back, and I didn't want to sit in the front with him. You guys know how the buses are. You could sit in the front with the driver. There's like 2 seats, and then the behind the driver, like, there's the other rows. I sat in the first row behind the driver in like the conductor seat, where the conductors usually sit down. That's where I sat. And I mean, he wasn't acting creepy or anything at that time, so I'm like, okay, you know, it's cool, whatever. So we're driving. And what happened? And I don't know, first of all, he was like, his phone was ringing, and he had like 2 cell phones, which, I mean, that's not creepy at all, right? 2 cell phones. So I'm like, okay, you know, maybe it's like a work phone, and then it's like maybe his personal phone, blah blah blah. So he's like talking in this language. I didn't know that country had their own language, that island, to be honest. I didn't know they spoke like patois, I guess it is. I didn't understand what he was saying. It could have been another language. He could have been from another island and living in that island. But oh, damn, wait, guys. Yeah, so he could have been living there from another island. I don't know, but he was like answering the phone, talking a different language, like, yeah, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, aren't you supposed to be focusing on driving on the road? Like, you're on here having a whole conversation. Like, can you pay attention to the road? Because my life is precious, first of all. So, and then it was like he was on one phone, then his other phone would ring. He was like, da, 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 like answering like both phones back to back. So then he actually spoke something in English. He was like, yeah, I'm coming now. I'm coming now. I'm like, you're coming now? Like, aren't you supposed to be trying to drop me to the airport? Like, who are you talking to talking about you're coming now? So instantly I'm like, oh my God, I'm not about to get kidnapped. I'm not about to get kidnapped. Like, no, I'm too young for this. So what I did, guys, it was so funny. I legit, like, I'm laughing now, but I legit was so scared. Like, I was gonna get kidnapped. So I went into my backpack. I had a backpack. I went into my backpack. I had this pen. I was in love with this pen. It was like a very fine tip pen. The ballpoint. Yeah. Yeah, a very fine tip pen. And I took it out. I'm like, if he tries anything, I'm just gonna like stab him with that pen. Like, I'm gonna stab him and like run and get away. Like, I'm not about to get like kidnapped right now. No, I was dead serious, guys. I had a whole plan and everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stab him. Like, while he's like on the ground, I'm gonna like run and try to get help. So I had the pen in my hand. So the whole time, like, he was fixing his mirror, like looking in the back. I kept like seeing him like looking in the back. He was like, so where you from? So I'm like, I'm from New York. I wasn't about to tell him like I'm Grenadian or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm from New York. Yes, I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, oh, okay. He was like, you come on vacation? I'm like, yeah, I'm on vacation. I'm gonna visit my mom and my family. Da da da. He was like, oh, okay. That in itself was strange to me because it was like he was asking me some personal questions, and I'm like, why is he even asking me this right now? So all of that made me think, like, is this guy trying to kidnap me? Like, because it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna fight. In my mind, I'm like, even though I have to fight to the end, I'm gonna fight to the end. Like, nobody's about to kidnap me and like transport me to another country. And like, no human trafficking is about to happen right now. So I'm in the bus, we're driving. It's mad crazy. I have the pen in my hand, like, I'm hiding it like right there. I have it in my hand. I'm like, I'm ready. So then we reach to this place where there's like this little shop and a couple houses, but the whole place is like, mind you, we're driving through like, okay, you know how my Grenadian people, you know how Granatang is? That's where we were driving through, like forested area, like Granatang. So it's not like if something happened, there would be people around to help me. Like, it was just plain forest and stuff. And one thing I had to say, that island had horses. Like, I saw people on the side of the road riding horses. I was so amazed because, like, you won't go to Grenada and see people riding horses. More likely a donkey, but not a horse. I was like, wow, people are like, they have their own horses like out here and stuff. It was so cool, guys. But anyhow, back to the panic. So then we reach this little shop and he stops. He pulls up in front of the shop. So I'm like, first of all, you're on a job. Like, you're supposed to get me to the airport. Like, I'm paying you to do this. So why are you stopping at the shop? Like, I literally have an hour to get there. Like, can we move? Can you do this after you drop me off? Like, I don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? He stops in front of the shop. He's like, oh, do you want anything to eat or drink? I was like, bing, bing, bing. Hell no, I'm not about to get drugged up in here. I'm mad paranoid, guys. And with good reason. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. He was like, okay, you're not going to give me something and drug me and kidnap me out here. Okay. So I was like, no, I don't want anything. So he went in. He talked to this lady in the shop. He came back out. He was eating and drinking something, blah, blah, blah. He got in the bus and he started driving again. The whole time, guys, I kid you not, the whole time after that, he was like looking in the mirror, the rearview mirror. Is that what you call it? The mirror that's up here. I'm not a driver, so don't judge me. The whole time he was looking in the mirror back at me, and I swear this man, like, he was driving with this hand, right? And this other hand was on his crotch. I kid you not. It was on his crotch, and it looked like he was like rubbing it. Guys, peeped that, and I was like, God, no, at that point, like the little tears is coming into my eye right now. I was so scared. I was like, God, if this is the way I have to go, like, please, I don't think I could just live with being raped. Like, I can't do it, guys. That's like one of my biggest fears. Like, I would never want to like get forced for somebody to force themselves on me. And it seems like that is what was on his mind. Like, he was rubbing his crotch. I kid you not, guys. I saw this with my entire eye, and he was like looking back at the mirror at me. And I was like, I was praying. I was like, Jesus, please, like, just please get me out of the situation. Like, please just get me there safe. Like, just whatever he's thinking, God, just like take it out of his mind. Like, I'm too young to die. Like, at that point, I thought I was like gonna get raped and killed or something, because the way he was acting was mad suspicious. So he continues doing this. He's driving. Then we get to the town area. I'm like, thank you, God. If he tries anything, there's people around here that would be able to help me. So we drive through the town area. So I was like, are we close to the airport? He was like, yeah, we're almost there. And I'm like, so how much do I owe you? So he was like, oh, you're gonna pay me $60. So I was like, well, I'm thinking it's EC, but I'm just realizing that different islands have their own currency. Like, Grenada is Eastern Caribbean dollars, but other islands have their own currencies. So I'm like, you mean 60 EC or 60 US? He was like, no, 60 US. I told somebody that after, and they were like, girl, he robbed you. Like, 60 US in that currency is a lot of money to be paying for just a drive from there to there. So first of all, he robbed my money, which, I mean, I'm not even complaining about that, because at least I made it safe. When I got to the airport and I saw the airport, I said, thank you, Jesus, because there's so many things that could have happened to me from point A to point B. This guy was acting mad weird. He was like playing with his genitalia, looking at me through his rear view mirror. It was just like mad crazy. And I was like, thank you, God. Like, you got me out of this, praise to you. Thank you. Da-da. So I got out, I paid him his money, he got up my suitcase or whatever, and I sat there and waited. I didn't have to wait. To be honest, I got there on time. It was way before the hour. But Liat, had me waiting longer than I should have been waiting, because, we're like delayed. Like, I think the excuse was like the plane wasn't there yet. The plane was late. I'm like, listen, if Leah don't get it all the way together, like, I can't. You guys know the whole Liat struggle. If you're in the Caribbean, you know the Liat struggle. So it was okay, because, they had little charging ports. Like, I charged my phone. I think they had Wi-Fi, so I was good. And I waited, then I got my flight, and then I went to Grenada. But I know the title of this video might be a little misleading. I wouldn't say misleading, because it's literally going to be like, I almost got kidnapped. But it is true, like, I legit could have gotten kidnapped, especially because of the way that guy was acting. And he was like calling this person like, oh, I'm going to be there soon, da 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 da. So it's like, I was so scared, guys. I know he was thinking something, because he was rubbing his crotch, like literally looking at me and rubbing his crotch. But I'm so grateful that he did not act on that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like scared. Like, what if there's another girl who's like going through the same thing, who ends up meeting this taxi driver and he decides to do that to her? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, from that time, every time I'm traveling, if I'm getting a connecting flight, it has to be Miami, because I know Miami airport like the back of my hand. Like, it has to be Miami. It has to be Miami. I have connected in Barbados. I have connected in Trinidad. I've been to other islands for connecting flight, but I never had to wait more than an hour. and I never had to like switch airports. That was the first and only time I had to do that ever. So now when I'm flying, I always do JetBlue. It's always JetBlue now, and it's always straight flight, go and come. I don't want no connecting flight. If I have to get a connecting flight, it has to be Miami Airport. It has to be. Nothing else is good enough for me. Even though I have to pay the little extra, and then again, I'm never going for like the cheapest ticket anymore. Like, I'll pay for my safety. Like, if that's what I have to pay, knowing that I'll be safe, then I'll pay it. Like, I learned my lesson from them, because if he had decided to do whatever he was thinking about doing, I wouldn't even be here telling you guys this story right now. So when you do travel, guys, please be careful, because a lot of people who do these kinds of things work in everyday jobs like taxi drivers, Uber driver, or, you know, customer friendly services. So you never know the person who you're like in an Uber with, or in a taxi with, if you're in the islands, or who, you know, whoever it may be. You never know who that person is or what they're capable of doing. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories where people get into a taxi or get into, you know, a car to bring them to point A to B, and they never make it there. They get kidnapped, they get killed. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories like that. So I'm glad I wasn't one of the statistics for, you know, one of those kind of situation. I'm glad that I got through it. I thank God that I got through it. I got to Grenada safe. I came back up safe. I just thank God that that whole situation was avoided. And yeah, that's my advice to you guys. Oh my god, my throat is dry. Yeah, but that's my advice to you guys. Never travel. If you're traveling by yourself, don't do a connecting flight to somewhere that you're not familiar with. I'm familiar with Miami Airport, again, because countless flights. I've gone to Miami Airport. I've lived in Florida before, you know. I've lived in Miami-Dade County. So it's like I know that airport like the back of my hand. But everywhere else, I don't know about that. So anyhow, guys, this is the end of the story. I will be bringing you guys more story times. I have so many stories to talk about and to tell you guys about. So this was my story. Just be careful when you're traveling, guys. And yeah, until next time. Love you guys. Bye.